So, welcome everybody. I'd like to start by acknowledging that we meet on the lands of First Nations people. I'm on Kaurna land today, and acknowledge that they have cared for the country and culture for thousands and thousands of years, for which we who live here now are eternally grateful. So I'm suggesting that people put their screens on gallery view as we try and hold a sort of round table discussion rather than a presentation, because there's no actual presentation. We're going to talk to each other. So the people who have got their video off, which you're welcome to do, if you want to be part of this discussion, just turn your video on and get in here, or turn it on at the point of time at which you want to talk. And then, because we can see each other, you can go, as if we were in a room, you can go, I want to speak. Of course, you can use the chat box to put in any comments that you like, and to answer any of the questions, ideas that come into your mind. We've actually got a very long list of questions that we want to address, which we won't get to all of them today. But we want to start by having a look at reviewing Little Lunch online. How's it been? What's worked? What hasn't worked? What people's ideas might be for the future. We want to talk to you about some plans that we've got some of us have got for expanding this into different areas. We would like to talk to you about all the artists who registered to perform for Little Lunch online and how we might give them an opportunity to do that. We've got more questions. We need to talk to you about eventually about the bigger picture of Arts Front and where we're going with trying to develop a vision for the future and how all of that fits together. So there'll be more than this one where we address these kind of future issues. So I thought that we might just actually have a look at how we've been. I mean, we've been at it for weeks now. Is it working? Do you think it's worth continuing? What's your picture for the future? And as if we were in a room together, I'm going to ask everybody whose picture I can see to have a view and just tell us what you think. How have you experienced this? Do you think it's worthwhile? Are there things we could change? What do you think the future might be? So just like a minute or so, just for us to get a feel for you. So where shall we start? Malika, would you be, go on. Just tell us what you think.
What do I think? Good morning, everyone from Perth. Thanks for having me. I am on the Noongar Nation here, and I think that these, having come in quite late to the party and then having to do a bit of catch up with what the Little Lunches are, and watching some of the ones that have happened previously, I just find them this amazing connector of people who are going through similar things or can learn from each other. And I'm thinking about it in a business model sense. I'd be paying for this. This is something that I would pay a fee. I'm a salaried person. I'm from an organisation. I've come from local government background as well. I've come from working with state, and so I've come from areas where, not that I'm an outsider to the arts now, but previously I'd be purchasing from the arts. This seems to be something that I would want to purchase, to have it as a membership benefit for the government out there. That this is a way to connect with artists and possibly enter into them business discussions with them post a Little Lunch. where there was content of interest. That this is it works like a marketplace. That there is a way of this becoming a brokerage kind of service between people. And while I mean, having come from the disability field as well, I know this is that access is expensive, but access is important. But it is very time restricted in what can run. So that opportunity to help with those costs from outside, I think, is really important in an ongoing basis. But also that the other day when we continued to have a conversation after the Little Lunch Online, that was amazing. That was this half hour is precious, but being able to then have an extended conversation. My question would be, who gets left out?
Yeah, good. That's terrific. I just need to move on from you.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
No, they're all really useful. And people, stick your ideas in the chat. You don't have to wait to talk. Marveen, do you want to have a go? Can't hear you. You're muted. Marveen, you're on mute.
Okay, yep. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I know, if you don't mind, this is the first time I've joined, so I haven't got an informed opinion. So if you don't mind, I'll just stay a little while and listen to your interest.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's fine. Welcome. Who else is here? Asil, are you wanting to get in and give us your view about Little Lunch Online?
Yeah, if you don't mind the noise around me. Well, I personally, Little Lunch Online has been really kind of a place for me to know much more artists. Since Rima was born, I was kind of involved limitedly with art outside, because I cannot really attend lots of things. I can just go with limited time to different places. But now I feel like this is an opportunity for me to be involved and to see what other artists are doing in Australia, and not only. And also, it was a platform for me to be able to talk about Book Day, which is my project, and to kind of showcase the artists and their passion, and especially people of color, artists of color that are passionate about, telling their own stories their own way. So yeah. I am for me, it's working perfectly. Obviously, I can also do my own cooking and look at my Palestine in the background and be able to share things in my convenient time. And some lunches I couldn't attend, but I could also watch online and see. And it's great the way people are introduced, and between hosts and artists. It's an amazing kind of community that's coming together to be able, and that is passionate about other art and change, not only just focus in themselves and how they can grow, but how they can hold people's hand and go together with them. So yeah, obviously I'm really passionate about this and I love it. I wish it was longer, but I also understand that I speak quickly and that I know that other people have to translate and transcript my what I say as well. But I wish it was longer, because sometimes I feel it finishes too soon when I want to really know more about this artist or this lesson.
Okay.
But yeah, I also understand that it can be hard for some people as well. So, yeah.
Thanks, Cecile. Eddie, have you got a view?
Hi all, I'm Eddie. I work with Regional Arts Australia, which I know is very hard to tell if you guys don't know who I am. We've really enjoyed being part of this program. I think it's extraordinary, the sort of broad spectrum of the arts industry that you guys have covered and all of those different voices. I think it's really lovely. And I love the ability in the way that you guys have set it up to dip in and out, that you can watch it on record later. And I guess the only thing that I find quite difficult in this particular moment is the fact that people's capacity to watch some of this extraordinary content is kind of hampered by whether they have work commitments or just the sheer amount of conversation that's happening out there and what you're aware of and what you have time to see. But yes. I think you guys are doing a wonderful job.
Thanks, Eddie. Mana, do you want to throw your 10 cents in? You've been to a few.
Yeah, well, I like being involved with the Little Lunches as a live captioner. It's been really wonderful to hear everyone's experiences and thoughts. And I feel that I've learned a lot more sort of in the past few weeks than when I was involved as an artist, as a dancer. And I feel that sort of listening in on everyone's little lunches, I feel that there's a lot of strength and a lot of connection between everyone, which is really, really nice. Obviously, because it's not just from one state, but it's Australia as a whole. So yeah, no, it's been really, really lovely to be part of this. So yeah, no, really positive.
Thanks. And Marissa, you've been Melissa, sorry, you've been in from the beginning. What's your view?
Yeah, I echo all those sentiments. I love being introduced to people that I would never have come across, even in some conferences. Being more of an arts manager and at that producer level, you know, I don't often get to hang with the artists. It's an interesting challenge, that. So I've really enjoyed getting to know who's doing what. And I agree. I think the ability to talk to decision makers or hear from them, and they know that we're poised waiting to hear from them. I think that's been a really big switch. And to be able to have Australia Council actually reporting to us what they're thinking of doing over the next months, you know, that was really collegial. So yeah, I just love the surprises that I get in the programming. I don't often know what's coming, and every day it's been a surprise. So I've loved that.
Great. So Rihanna, I'm wondering if you would like to tell us your view about little lunches and their usefulness.
I'm not sure she's seen.
No, I'm not sure she has either. No. There she is.
I'll just pin her, make her bigger. Sorry. I can't tell if I'm... Can you see me? Yep. Okay, well, thank you so much for hosting these little lunches online. I think they've been really valuable, and I have felt connected to people and organisations and learnt so much about the different services and programs and even artists that are out there. And I feel there's more opportunity for connection. You know, I have lived in the Sydney bubble for a while, but little lunches online have really expanded that bubble. And I have been surprised, like someone else said, at what's out there. And I think it's really valuable to keep this going. I'd like to see it continue. I think it's been wonderful, and the access that's been provided for the deaf community has been wonderful, as we've seen deaf people from all over Australia join. Thank you.
Great. Any of the people who have got their videos off who want to get into the conversation, just put your video on so I can see you. No, you're happy to listen? Oh, here we go. Rebecca's in. Rebecca, what do you think? You're on mute, Dal. That's it.
Hang on, am I off? Okay, hi everyone. I just think that what's going on right now, it's sort of everything's cracked open, and I think Little Lunch Online has allowed this moment of visibility for people who potentially may have not been seen before or heard before. And I think that's a really great artist-driven initiative where the artists are front and center now, driving the conversations, asking the questions, and hopefully coming up with the solutions for what potentially the future can be. And I think it's also, you know, we're in this rapidly evolving moment together, and I think Little Lunch Online has been one of the solutions to come up with how we can start framing the future. So I think it's been really valuable, and good on you guys. It's great.
Thanks, Rebecca. Carolyn.
Hi, I'm just new. It's the first time I've joined.
You're very welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. A friend sent me something that's coming up in a few weeks, so I went to that the website. And yeah, I think it's an interesting initiative. So yeah, I'd like to sort of understand more about it from this call, and yeah, see what you have planned for the future.
Great. So, and you've already seen that we've got a future program planned. What one of the things that we talked about, let's just deal with the artist bit. One of the things we set out to do in the beginning was give artists a bit of a platform, give them the opportunity to perform while we're all in lockdown, and a chance for them to get paid for performing. And we've got, as time's gone by, we've got so interested in talking to each other, we've had less and less performance and more and more talk, because we've been really engaged in the conversation. So now we've got quite a long list of artists who've registered to perform. So, and we feel an obligation to give those people the opportunity. So we're wondering about holding a sort of event, a kind of, you know, a 3-hour event where people get 3 or 4 minutes, and we put out a program, and then everybody can perform and they can get paid for having done that. Being a way that we could stay true to them and the people who've indicated that they want to do it. What do you think? Just unmute yourself and talk. You don't think anything? It's hard. It's hard. I know it's hard learning to do this. Just unmute yourselves. Rebecca, unmute yourself and speak. Unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm unmuted. I'm just laughing because it's just seemed funny at that moment. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think the question, I guess, is who curates that, and how does that sit within like in the broadcast space? I guess they're just the questions, but I think what Artsfront's, you know, getting money into the pockets of artists is great, and I think, you know, that sort of allows sort of a, like, the curatorship of it matches that outcome, well, then that's, you know, that's a really good idea.
Okay, that is an interesting question. But so we might ask for a couple of curating volunteers to help put that program together. Do you think people would come in and out? Like if we did it so that you could, I don't know, if we did it from, say...
Can I say something else?
Yeah, please.
So I was just wondering, because one of the answers, I don't remember the name, sorry, of the person that just said how many things are happening outside. And I think that one of the things I like about Little Lunch Online is it's giving a platform for artists. So like what I'm thinking about that long kind of 3 hours event, it might be that we have, let's say, 10 artists that are part of something. And like, you know, people, because it's long, people go in and out, and they're missing the artist as well. So like, I would be not feeling happy if, like, I know that an artist has been preparing and excited. The payment is one part, but I think all artists perform. They could, if people are caring about money only, they could do other things. They will make art because they care about it and would love people to hear them. So I think maybe having few events that are longer than half an hour, that have something like this, and give the people the opportunity. Some people, if they see something that's really long, they maybe watch some of it and they will miss the artist and their work. So I personally, if there's something that's long, even like I join sometimes the OSCO connections, learning and connection session. And sometimes because of my daughter, I cannot watch it all, but I'm sure I have missed something. So what I'm just aware of is if I'm performing, let's say, I don't want to be missed. And I'm sure I don't want also other artists to feel it's too long, maybe not that.
Okay.
That's kind of my opinion around this. Even if I think an event is a great thing normally because people, you know, are gathered and so on, and they love the environment. But normally in this kind of situation, they would be online and they don't have the environment that is a festive environment in general. So I think it's interesting to know how is that going to happen. That's all.
Okay, that's good feedback, Asil. So you essentially suggesting that we could extend the little lunch, have the half an hour session, and then maybe have some performance after it, something so it's still connected, and
I think
people don't feel
guys,
devalued.
Invited me to do a performance first. It was the first thing. Normally, this is when lots of people get inside. It will have an artist that maybe we can link whatever they are talking about into, like, let's say if I'm talking about home, maybe an artist doing it at home. It's like kind of to bring artists that are creating work together with what the lunch is about. So people that are interested in this also join and bring other people that might think this is like something interesting. Just so we increase the amount of people that are watching this lunch, and also we introduce those artists in a different way. Maybe those artists are not really known, so it's like kind of an opportunity. But if it's something that is long and there's a chance that they will not really be heard, it's a mess. I just feel it's a mess. It's just my
Okay, got it. All right, that's really useful feedback. Anybody else want to have a view about this topic?
And could you do me a favour and just summarise a little bit of what Asil said, just because it was tricky, I think, for Michelle to sign that for Riona.
So Asil saying what she would prefer is that the performance is related to the topic of the little lunch, and that there's some introduction to the artist, and that there's that's a respectful environment, and that maybe we should extend the little lunches in order to enable that to happen. Is that, Asil, are you happy with that summary?
Sorry, I'm trying to hear you, and with
it's okay.
Yeah, I'm happy with whatever you guys said.
I'm pretty sure that's what you said, and and that works if, but we'll still have some artists, I think, who are not related to a topic, but there might be a way to extend little lunches to add some performance as well. We'd need to look at that. As Rebecca says, that might need some curating if it's not attached to a topic.
Yeah, and I think that becomes more of it's like a programming issue then.
Yeah.
Programming this series. And just from the one that I did curate and I did host that had 3 performers that were connected to a theme, like it went so fast. It was like, it was over before I knew it, and we sort of didn't really get anywhere. Like we did, but I feel like that half an hour format with 3 performers and a conversation and a theme needs a longer format.
I mean, I think everybody's saying it's not long enough to do all the things we want to do.
Can I?
Sorry, Mom.
Okay, who's got their hand up? Riona, did you have your hand up? No, is it Marissa?
Riona did want to say something.
Excellent.
Sorry. I recall you gave me 45 minutes for my presentation, and I'm really grateful that you did offer me that time. I thought it was a good duration, because people do work, they are busy. I know that they can't commit to too long, but maybe once a month it could be that 3-hour longer event. Or I like the idea of having a topic and then a performance or, exhibition or some sort of thing, but because everyone has raised valid points, and I'd love to have some deaf performers involved.
Mm-hmm.
Also, to be able to have an opportunity to see what theatre interpreters look like theatre, like shadow interpreting or sort of stage, and how you might integrate an interpreter into your performance. So we could there's so many things we could explore and learn. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, excellent points. Of course, we're trying to do too many things all at once. We'd love to do that. We'd absolutely love to do that, and have people showing different styles of performance and how to integrate those things. And at the same time, we're trying to deal with the people who volunteered early to perform that we want to stay true to and give them the opportunity to perform, who might not fit our topics. So it's just juggling a bit, but that's okay. So so if you could leave that with us, I think we'll go away and think about that, and then maybe next week we'll come back with some feedback. Yeah, Rebecca.
Maybe like if you wanted to get a sort of I guess with one of a better word, mass performance online, you could maybe just do it almost like 3 minutes per performance, and just get them almost like punch them out and as a 1 hour every week. So then it's sort of really clear what it is. I think it's just around clarity of what the offering is. And if you go an hour a week, we're going to just put as many performers online as we can in that hour. It's 3 minutes per show, piece, and just sort of rotate them through might be an approach.
Okay, that's really helpful. Thanks.
Can I make just a quick one, Anne?
Malika and then Melissa.
Yes, the opportunity to have students, this is not about replacing paid work, but the opportunity to have students do projects that's part of their learning, that could actually develop some of these things, or provide the admin support to someone who might be volunteering to do a curatorial or something. I've had master students that are worth, $30,000 minimum because they have 400 hours to complete. But I think that there are people out there studying, and work placements in the arts don't happen for students, and they should, because this is where they should be working. And I think that there's untapped resource there.
Thanks, Malika. Melissa.
Just quickly, I worry about the fact that it's not all art form, and as was brought up before, theatre, visual arts, there's so many other arts that wouldn't get featured. And I think I love the fact that Arts Front is getting into the meat of conversation and process, and how we got to where we are. And so I feel like if you wanted to pay those artists, pay them for their opinion, perhaps. And so we're actually documenting behind what the performances are. That's not to say performance couldn't happen somewhere else, but I just worry it's not across art form.
Okay, so you've given us a lot to think about, and as happens every day, there's 3 minutes left. So let me ask you this. It sounds to me as if having this forum, and I mean, in truth, we get about 30 people a day, and, on a big day, we've had 103, that it's useful and people would like for it to continue. So that looks to me as if that's right. What I think, need to come back to you with some propositions about how we might continue it. We might need more people engaged in doing the programming, and maybe the curating. So I think that we need to come back and talk to you about that. I'll just tell you the other topics that we need to pursue in the next. We need to talk to you soon about the whole big Arts Front project, creating a vision for the arts for Australia. We've only got this year really to complete this project, and so we need to harness people's views and get you into that. So we need to talk about that. We need to talk to you about some other smaller things that are happening. Melissa, for example, is thinking about doing this kind of little lunch online thing in her region as a way of engaging people. So that's a really useful conversation. We're due in November to have a big Arts Front gathering, which we might be doing online, but we want to talk to you about how we might do that. I do think we're definitely continuing little lunches, and we might be continuing until November. That might be the build up to that. And we wanted to talk about other possibilities. There might be some, little dinners online, or, there are ways to expand it, and we will certainly need to talk to you about who else wants to be involved in the development of the ideas and pushing it forward. Is it a national steering group or a couple of curators or whatever it is? But we need more people involved. So all those things are on the topic. We're going to do this on Fridays, just for another 2 or 3 weeks anyway, just so that we get more time to talk to you about where the program's going, and that the ownership of the program's more broadly shared. All right, who wants the last say? It's now noon, so you can have 15 seconds. Anybody got something they haven't said? You're right, it's too short, isn't it? You hardly get going. Norm, Sarah, do you want to add anything?
Could I just say that I really liked what Melissa just said, that you know, that you know, it certainly sounds like a good forum for the explanation of an artist's process and ideas.
Yes. Yes. Elliot, anything?
Good.
Sarah?
I think it's been good today. I think it's a really good start, and really looking forward to getting going. I think that curating is a great idea and get a diversity of people curating work, and really looking forward to the work in starting to look at unpacking the conference or conversation at the end of the year around future visioning. So thank you. I think it's the beginning of something really great. And being longer, yeah, I think we'll work on that. Hey?
No.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for all the support you've been putting into and your feedback today. One of the really pressing ones for us is to get some communication to those artists who've put EOIs in, because at the moment they don't know what's going on in that space. So if we can come to a plan that helps to bring, at least give them information about what the plan is for their performances in Little Lunches, that'd be really good, even if we do stretch it out over time, or if we do something more kind of focused. But thank you all again.
In the week, we'll devise a plan for doing that, and then we can talk to people about that next week. We haven't got, I mean, there's not enough time in these sessions to actually create things. What it will do is get people stimulated to think of things, and then we can come back. So if you've got ideas, bring them back next week and say, try this. You know, we have to learn how to have a forum online. Thanks for turning your videos on and for being part of it. We will be here next Friday trying to nut out the future of this, but also the future of arts and culture and community in Australia on behalf of the citizens. It's been lovely to have you. See you later.
Bravo.
Bye.
See ya.